Here we go, Cowboys. Here we go. Clap, clap. Morning, evening, afternoon. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for tuning in already, man. Hey, if y'all don't follow me on social media, on Twitter or Instagram, I guess, if you follow me only on TikTok, then you wouldn't have seen this, or like YouTube. I won $14,000 yesterday on DraftKings. How about them apples, boys? I bet I had two lineups that hit. I put in about, I think the total I put in was close to $2,800. I had two lineups, paid off 14 grand. Talk to me. And you know what's crazy, bro? I actually kind of have a bone to pick with you, chat. All of you guys responding to the tweets, responding to my Instagram story. You're like, oh man, 14 grand for Alexis's new ring. Chat, you're supposed to have my back, and saying shit like that is not helping me, okay? I don't want to spend that kind of money on the ring, okay? I need you guys to be like, wow, Tim, that's like almost 1.5 new televisions, dude. So I can get another $10,000 TV, dude. 50K ring incoming, Pog. Dude, honestly, it was crazy, man. You know what I've realized? You know what I realized? So yesterday on DraftKings, that was the first big boy league that I entered. Okay. So usually I do like a $300 entry, which is good money. That's a good amount of money. Maybe a $700 entry. Yesterday, I went balls deep, bro. And I said, F it, bro. I'm gonna go all out. I had a $2,000 entry. So you had to pay $2 grand to enter into the tournament. That was the minimum. And I was like, let's get it, bro. Let's get it. You know what I mean? So it was a $2,000 entry. All right. A lot of people are saying that some people are saying I'm paying people to build my lineups, which is not true at all. I'm not. I have there's two guys that I talk to. Okay. One, his name's Jordan. Jordan usually does the big slate ones on Sundays. Okay. He doesn't do the individual game ones. And then the other guy I'm talking to, I don't know his actual name, but we'll call him Millie. Millie is the other guy, okay? Millie does some showdown ones here and there. So Millie DM'd me yesterday, and he goes, I'm going to play the Bills Patriots one. Should be an interesting game. And I was like, okay. And then he said a lineup that he was going to use. So I looked at it. I was like, okay. I was like, I kind of like the lineup, but I wanted to put my own little tweak to it because his original lineup, let me see who it was. The original lineup that he said... Yeah, here it is. Diggs, captain, Josh Allen, Bird, McKenzie, Myers, Moss. That was his that he told me. So I kind of put my own little spice on it, if you will. Diggs, captain, Allen, you have to have those two. Bird. I just want to comment and say Bird. I know he doesn't watch my stream, but that touchdown that he missed. You guys know what I'm talking about? Any Patriots fans here? He had a touchdown in the end zone and dropped it. And I just want to say, it literally like hit him in the head. And I just want to say, side note, if Bird caught that ball, I would have been first place in the big league and I would have made 75 grand. Because the way that tournament worked was, I'm not even kidding. I literally took a screenshot at half where it said I was making 75K. Do you guys want to see it? I took a screenshot because at halftime I was in first in that tournament. And it said, I wanted to tweet out the picture and be like, stop the game. I wanted to tweet it out and be like, all right, let's call it at halftime. Let's call it. So it was showing that I had 75 grand. Here's kind of where I went different. I went with Diggs, captain, Allen, Bird, who if he caught a touchdown, I would have made 75 grand. Knox, Buffalo's tight end, one of them. Moss as well. And then I went with Bass, and I think that was the good pick that I made. I didn't take McKenzie. Bass ended up being a great pick. That's the kicker. He did really well for Buffalo. He was just easy points because they kept scoring. I just want to say, side note, after watching the game, bro, after watching that game, the Patriots are in shambles, man. Crazy. Absolute insanity. How bad they are. Isn't it weird to see them struggle? It's kind of, I don't want to say I'm happy to see Patriots suck, but I kind of am, because you guys, you know, a lot of you, here's the reasoning. Here's the reasoning why I'm like, okay, I'm glad the Patriots are doing kind of bad. There is a new era of Patriots fans that were only fans of the Patriots when Brady was there. So you guys that were there with, you guys know who, right? You got Bledsoe. Some of you guys that were there beforehand, okay? I have respect for you as a Patriots fan. I do. Because you guys kind of understand what a little bit of struggle felt like being under Bledsoe and earlier Patriots teams. The new era Patriots fans, all from Brady on, they don't know what loss feels like. They don't understand that. So I'm really glad that you guys can kind of breathe this in a little bit and just kind of, this is what it feels like, guys. This is it. This is it when your team doesn't make the playoffs. This is what that feels like, okay? And it kind of just feels kind of good just to let the Patriots experience that just a little bit, you know, a little. I think a lot of you can agree with me, right? Patriots fans are like, woo, we're the best. I am the most happy right now. I am the most happy out of any team, any organization. I'm a Cowboys fan. You guys know that through and through. That's my number one baby. I love the Cowboys. But I am so happy to see Buffalo do well. I am. And I'm not trying, I promise you, I'm not trying to jinx anything. I am so happy to see Buffalo do well because they've been so bad for so long. And I grew up in Syracuse, so I went to a couple of Buffalo games, you know what I mean, growing up. And it is so good to see them do great, man. It is. I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy. Okay, so back to DraftKings. All right, so here's what happened. My big boy, the $2,000 entry, I placed 6th. I was in 6th place in that tournament, and I got 10 grand. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 guys had the exact same lineup, and they were all in first place because they all had the exact same lineup, which I'm assuming, my assumption is that all of these guys are subscribed to one of those websites that they suggested, I'll tell you what the lineup was that they won with. They had Diggs, captain, Allen, quarterback, Cam Newton, who did not do well for them, Myers, who also did not do well, McKenzie, Bass. That was I think what it was that was their computer. Their computer just built out some things for them, and they just played them because they were all identical. The top 5 guys that tied with each other. They all made 30 grand. They all made 30K, but since they all had the same exact lineup, they didn't take the 75 because they had to split it because they all had the same thing. Now, here's where you can say, holy shit, Tim, I feel bad for you. And you shouldn't feel bad for me. I'm blessed. I'm very happy to be alive. Another day's a gift, right? Neither of them, the top 5 guys that were in front of me, and just so you understand what point differential we're talking here, they had 135.41 points. That was what they all tied with. My team had 132. I needed 3 points more, and I would have won. I would have taken 75 grand. So I'm going to read you their lineup one more time. Diggs, Allen, Newton, Myers, McKenzie, Bass. That was what they all had and timed with. Ready? Here's mine one more time. Diggs, Allen, Moss, Knox, Bird, Bass. Knox dropped a touchdown. Bird dropped a touchdown. Both of them, literally. If one of those 2 guys in that game caught their touchdown, I win 75K. And on top of that, I was thinking about this morning when I woke up. The last 6 to 7 minutes, who was Buffalo running with? they were running with Singletary. If they randomly chose to run with Moss for those last 6 minutes, I probably get 30 yards in that. And none of those guys had Moss, and I beat them that way. This is where so some of these guys play DraftKings for their life. Some of these guys, they literally make a living on it. That's what they do. I mean, these guys all just won 30 grand, right, in this tournament. And it's kind of, that is a moment. So I'm not clinging to this. I'm not like, oh, I need that, right? It's just kind of like a fun thing for me. But it is so crazy to me how a drop pass can change so much. Isn't that nuts? Here's the thing. Knox, his missed touchdown, Moss ended up getting it. So technically I got that one. The one that really ruined it for me was Bird, because none of these guys had Bird. Bird was a random pick for me. He was 4K, and I was like, he does decent, I guess, some games. I was looking at some of his stats. So he was the one I decided to take. And if he caught that, I beat them by 7. And it makes 75K. Bro, anyone that does this for a living, I don't know how you guys do it, bro, because that would eat me up. That would eat me up. I couldn't do it. I got to be careful, bro, because that big money tournament really kind of showed me how much money you can get in this. And I'm like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? But I still won, right? I spent about 3 grand and I won 14 grand last night. I still won, right? This was my screenshot at halftime yesterday. I was winning $78,000. My team was in first place, was 64. Now keep in mind that this was right. This was halftime. So it was crazy to see 78,000, right? But I wasn't getting my hopes up because anything could happen in the second half, right? You know what kind of hurts even a little bit more? You know what hurts a little bit more? And this is DraftKings in a nutshell. The team that I got first place in, because you guys see there's 2 entries there, right? The top one with the big money and then the bottom one. The team that I got first place with in the other tournament, did you guys see how many points it got on my tweet when I tweeted out that I won? That team was different than my other one. That team, Diggs, captain, Josh Allen, Moss, Michelle, Sony, Knox, McKenzie. So that team was a different one for me. That team got 136 points. The winners that split the pot of the $2,000 tournament had 135. So to put this plain and simple for you, if I flip my teams around, if I had the 136 team in the $2,000 pot, that wins 75 grand. Hey man, DraftKings is fun, bro. But I tell you what, man, these big money tournaments, these things are scary. That's all I can say, bro. I've said it before and I'll say it again, man. With me and gambling, me doing this kind of stuff, I think it's important to understand, chat. If you're going to gamble anything, and I'm talking to the kids here, all right? If you're going to gamble anything, don't count on that money staying, all right? Anytime you walk into a casino, and I still have the same kind of rule for myself, right? When I was younger and I went to casinos when I was 18, 19, 20, I didn't make near as much money as I do now, obviously. And I would walk in with, let's say I walk in with 50 bucks and I say, okay, I'm going to gamble with 50. If I lose this 50, that's it, right? Don't count on that 50 coming out, right? Have a couple drinks, have some fun, whatever. But if you can do that, I think you're all right. But I just, once you're taking your last 50 bucks and you're trying to gamble your last $50, man, that's where it gets messy. That's where you got to be careful. Someone in chat says gamble with other people's money. Yeah, bro. Just get a rich friend. Forehead chat, right? just get a wealthy friend, chat, right?